Welcome to the basic CRM training. This webinar is for individuals that have a full branded website, meaning you have a basic site, a semi-custom, a premium, or a custom website. This is not a webinar for anyone who is on our automated system. So today what we're going to run through is the website and how the leads are generated, and then taking a look into the CRM system so that you know how to effectively follow up with your leads and adjust and tweak different aspects within the system. So on your agent locator site, there are a few different ways leads can register. So the system itself has the ability, if we go into just a community here, to showcase those listings. So when we're looking at a listing, there is this forced registration aspect that does appear. The user is able to bypass that. Now, as our default settings, the visitor can look at either 20 photos or 3 listings, whatever comes first, before the system will require that they create an account. So they can definitely come in here, look at all the properties. They'd be presented as if you are the primary agent on that listing. So they can continue to browse through photos at this point. And let's just go back, and I'm going to go to this one. And at this point, I'm going to create an account. So any user that registers on your website, doesn't matter how they're registering, they're going to be required to provide you their first name, their last name, their phone number, and their email address. So for this scenario, what I'm going to do is, Crystal at test.com, and I'm going to click sign in, and I'm going to website, and the phone number is going to be as a password. So this is where we are encouraging individuals to provide their cell phones so that we have a better form of communication for them. So I'm going to actually put in my actual phone number, and I'm going to register to view all the photos. Now, this terms of use that comes into play is actually reflective of the board that you're a member in. It is not a terms of service of or use of agent locator. So we're going to click agree. Now, at the time, we're going to see here that some of these listings are blocked off. They are encouraging that lead to actually check their email to validate that they have entered in a proper email. So they will receive an email with a link to validate. If they validate, it'll bring them back into the website, and all the listings will present on there. But say this person doesn't care, doesn't want to validate their email at this time, they can still continue to go in here, browse through some properties, again, go through view the listings. It's not going to kick them out. They can look at as many properties as they want because now they've actually registered. It's just some of those VOW, those VOW listings, that they're not able to see. Now, if that lead is registered, and even if they have not validated their email address, you are still going to be able to email them those listings through the CRM system, even if they haven't validated. It's just more or less for the lead capture on the site to validate their email and being able to see all the listings on the website specifically. So the forced registration on the listings is one way that you'll be able to capture your leads. Now, anytime somebody registers on your website, doesn't matter how they registered, they could have come through forced registration on the listings. Perhaps they went through one of your landing pages like Street Match or Homework, or even just use the contact page. That counts as a lead, and anytime a lead has registered, you will get a notification that you've received a lead. So other forms, as I mentioned, is, even buyers, maybe they wanted to tour that property, take a, showing. That also creates a new lead if they haven't even hit the forced registration aspect at that point. Now, all the leads that come in from your website will feed into the CRM system. So I'm just going to refresh this here so that our newest lead pulls up. So we can see here, Crystal website. So this is the main dashboard for your CRM system. Naturally, it's going to show your leads from the most recent lead to the oldest lead. And at the bottom here, you will see numbers where you can configure and move along this way. Now, you can change the view if you wish to. There's a lot of different ways that you can sort those leads. By default, it does show the most recent lead first in this scenario. So let's just go into, and actually before we do that, I'm just going to point out a few things. So on this main dashboard, you're going to see your leads contact information, their pipeline status, where they registered, so their location at the time of registration and which website they registered on. Now, if you only have one website with us, this is an imperative because it's always going to be the same website. However, if you have multiple websites or a lead gen site in addition to your branded website, then looking here to see which website they registered on is beneficial to yourself. You're also going to be able to see this activity. This lets you know when that lead was last active, as well as your contact methods at this point. How many, when was the last point of communication, and it'll let you know where and how that lead was contacted. If you have any tasks created for your leads, it will show up here as well. And if you are a team, this will also show you who that lead is assigned to. Admins in the system will only see all the leads, any individual user. So if you are a team that has some buyer agents, typically they don't have admin rights, so they would only ever be able to see their own leads or contacts at any given time. So if we go into this lead just simply by clicking the name, a couple things that you're going to notice, you will see that you have the lead's full contact information as they entered onto the website. You're also going to be able to see that lead's location at the time of registration. So this is 99% accurate as to that individual city at the time of registration. It is not accurate as to the exact location within that city. So just keep that in mind, but this will also help you to determine if this lead is local, if this lead is perhaps they're getting relocated, or maybe they're an international lead looking to come to Canada or the United States as well. Another key point that I want to focus or point out is this notes and calls section. So in here, you're going to see one of the very first notes. This is going to tell you why your lead registered. I have a lot of people that don't look into this, and it might be a seller lead that they got, and they're calling them with respect to listings. Yes, sellers are often buyers, but I always kind of reiterate, always knowing why you're calling somebody is probably a good idea. The confidence in your communication goes a long way. Another feature, because the website does have cookies, the system actually tracked your lead's activity. So you're able to go in and see exactly which listings that lead looked at while they were on your website. This little eyes in the top left-hand corner, this is going to let you know how many times they looked at a listing. You'll also, if you hover, you're also going to be able to see the MLS number for that listing. On the left-hand side, it's going to average out that information for you. So you're going to be able to see, for example, the average price point, the average number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and if the property types. And then depending on your board, it will sometimes break down into the communities. So not just the city level, but also any specific communities that that lead is looking at. So this goes a long way when communicating with your leads. You can actually script your calls to actually reflective of the homes of the area that they're looking in, rather than just a generalized conversation. So one thing that we do stress is that you want to call all of your leads. It is imperative that you do so, and I always tell all my clients that if you're not calling and adding value to these leads, guaranteed there's probably another realtor out there that is or is willing to. So always making sure you call your leads. Now, there are different ways that you can call and reach out to your leads. With this buyer lead, essentially, you're going to want to get some more insight about their home search criteria, their motivations, their timelines, things that like that are going to assist you with being able to accurately send out listings that they're looking for or be more likely to be interested in. It also lets you know, based on their motivations, how frequently should you be contacting that lead. Now, if you have Twilio set up in the system, you can call your lead right from Twilio. Mine isn't set up in this one just yet, but you'll be able to call that. A lot of our clients that just have a branded website don't always configure Twilio. So you do have the ability to still log your calls. So just note that it defaults onto Note, but you can definitely log your call. And it will timestamp for you. You can adjust that timestamp as well as you can log the call result. Now, one thing that we stress is not leaving a message. So until you actually get in contact with that individual, no message is required. So we're going to just log this as a no message left. Here you are going to see it automatically pulls up, but you can definitely add in more to it. So maybe you have no message left. Maybe said, voicemail was male versus female. Let's put it that way. Like whatever you want. If you don't want to put anything, you don't have to put anything. So you have here then the no message left. We're going to save that. Now, one thing you're going to also notice is this log is called this call is logged in the system. You're going to see this little phone icon here. This indicates a call in the system, and this little notepad indicates a note. So as we log this call, one thing you're going to recognize here is this pipeline changed. So when a lead initially comes in, they are typically going to come in as new lead or not set, essentially. So this means at that point that no communication has been made. So any lead that you have on try to contact is an indication for yourself that you need to continue calling these leads until you make contact. Now we do have, and we can assist you with creating some saved filters. So no call yet, you can sort those. So anyone that their pipeline is just on, tried to contact new lead or not set, and then 8 calls follow up. So this 8 calls follow up basically is 8 calls worth of follow ups. We have it set that every other day you call that lead until those 8 days are up. So if you need some help configuring some saved searches for yourself, by all means, you just let us know. We'll be happy to set those up. We're not going to go into saving those filters in this webinar. I think it'll just overcomplicate things. We want to just keep it to the basics for this purpose. So log in the call in here. If you are using Twilio, the call will naturally log and the pipeline will change here as well. Now, this pipeline will change for you automatically from try to contact to make contact if you speak to that lead. So if you now log this call as you talk to the lead and you make your notes in here. Now, one thing that I stress is always leaving notes and always logging your calls. One of the main reasons is not only are you tracking all that data in the system, but also these leads are not people that you've met. So they are very easily forgotten as to what you actually spoke about on that call. So the more notes that you leave with respect to your conversations, your future self is going to thank your current self for doing so. Because if you speak to Crystal in 2 weeks from now, for example, it's more than likely that you're going to forget a lot of the conversation that you had. So always leaving notes in here, even personal notes. Some people will be like, oh, you know what, we're going camping this weekend. Let's touch base next week, or, different things like that are a little bit more personal. So making notes of those goes a long way because you can always bring that back up the next time you speak to them. Now, hey, Crystal, how was the camping trip? You guys, and bring up small talk. Bring your leads walls down is going to go a long way in building that relationship. So here, I'm just going to leave a simple note. Let's say talk to the lead. They are planning to move within the next here. And let's say they're looking in Saga. Actually, we did Burlington here, so let's just go Burlington. Prefer a house. Price point is, let's say, 1 mil to 1.5 mil. Let's say that is it. They are a family of 4. And maybe they said something personal like they're going camping. So to follow up with them next week. Are going camping. So follow up. So I am going to save this. So now as I save this, you're going to notice that we do have this other call icon here. Also, what you're going to notice is this pipeline has now switched from tried to contact to made contact. Another thing that you're going to notice is your lead stats. So lead stats will let you know when a lead has registered, like what day and what time they registered at, when they were last contacted, and it also tracks all the communication attempts on your end. So we had made 2 calls, one we tried to contact and one we made contact. So always logging your call will and information will ensure that this lead stats is always up to date and accurate, because as time goes on, you may want to sort your leads based on this activity, which you can. So that is that. So now let's say this lead here, you had a conversation with them. Now, even if you didn't have a conversation with them, what you're going to do is set this lead up to receive listing alerts from you. So we do have a general idea. They spoke to us what they're looking for. Even if you didn't speak to them, you have a general idea as to what they're looking for and where, so you can set them up on a prospect match. Now, how you're going to do that is you're going to go into your email campaigns. Now, in the key email campaigns, you will have some options to choose from. It looks like mine are not configured, so just give me 1 second to configure those. Okay, so we now have the campaigns. So just to kind of go over things again, you're going to hit on email campaigns. You will have a drop down. So if you're not showing any campaigns to check off, then just let us know. We'll definitely activate those for you. Now, one of your campaigns will be automated prospect match. It's not automated, it's just a prospect match, meaning that is just listings. You do have a buying lead campaign as well. This campaign is consists of emails and listings. What I highly recommend if you are going to use this is to first check the emails that are going to be sent out. Perhaps you want to modify those to be constructed more along the terms of how you would communicate with any buyer leads or prospects that you may have. But for this purpose, we're just going to use the listings because essentially that's what these people are looking for. Now, again, if you don't get a hold of your lead, you can still set them up on this prospect match. So once you select your campaign, all you're going to do is assign. I've already done that, so I have the automated prospect match here. And then when I click on it, this little section opens up below. What I'm going to do is click on the V2. This is going to allow for me to configure which listings are going to be sent to my lead. Now, the filters that you see here will differ depending on the board that your system or your website with us is connected to. So for this purpose, I'm going to type in city. They were looking in Burlington. So I can even just go Burlington and then go show options, and it's going to show me any of the cities or communities, for example, that have that keyword in there. Now from there, we want the list price. If you recall, we made the note that they're looking from 1 million to 1.5 million. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 2 filters to be able to set the price point. So first one is price is equal to or greater than. Because they are 1 million, I am going to put 99999. Just to make sure anything just under that million is going to show up, and I am going to add that filter. I'm then going to add another list price filter, and I'm going to switch this from prices equal to or less than, and I am going to put in the 1.5 million in there, and I am going to add that filter. So now we have 114 properties. This is a decent number when initially sending things out to your leads. Now you can definitely be more specific. They were looking at 3 to 4 bedrooms. So if you wanted to select how many bedrooms, you can go 3, 4, or even 5 bedrooms and add that filter. As you can see that the listings actually dropped into the number, and they did want or preferred a detached home. So we're going to go into type of home, and we are going to simply select detached and add that filter. So now we're down to 90. So what we're going to do now is, because this is a new lead, we want to save and email the listings. If this was an existing lead and you're modifying, you may just want to go save and email only the new listings that have come up. So for this case, we're going to go save and email listings. We can go like this, and if we go and refresh this page, we now know that this person is set up to receive those listings. Now the email has not gone out because, well, I provided a fake email address on this one, so it's not going to show you there. But one thing that you're able to do is actually go in and edit. So to edit the email, all you do is simply click on this little notepad, and you're going to, I'll just put in my agent locator.ca and hit enter. It is now saved. Now, one thing, if you are uncertain, is the email hasn't gone out yet. One thing to keep in mind, that I had set this up so that listings go out 5 minutes after it has been set out. So this hadn't been marked yet as invalid, which means that that email would have initially bounced. Now, as these leads are receiving emails from you, they're going to get 1 email a day with any new listings that match that criteria. What's pretty cool and fantastic about our system is that this last activity section is going to update. So anytime one of your buyer leads open up a listing that you've sent them, this will update and let you know of that activity. So you can follow up or have touch points based on their viewing activity, or just simply monitor what they're doing. And this system itself is not limited to just your website leads. So you can definitely utilize these features for clients as well to stay on top of them and provide additional value. So now we have added that email campaign. When that email goes out, we will be able to see. I'll see if it's gone out yet. Nope, not yet. So when it does go out, you will be able to see in here. It'll allow you to see if the emails have been opened, if they've been delivered, or if they've been clicked on. And I can definitely show you that in another account or once this opens. Now, if you recall, in my note, I had made a note that the individual is going camping, so follow up next week. So now what I'm going to do is create a task. Now you do have, because you don't want to forget about this lead, right? You had a good conversation, someone you may connect with. You want to make sure you are adding that value and continuously following up. I like to put it as, if somebody walked into your office and asked for some service, you're going to provide them service, above and beyond. Same thing for your internet leads. So there is 2 different ways that you can add a task. So one is going into this task window. This task window allows you to create a task, and so you can go, follow up, call 3 listings they've received. And you can even add a note for yourself, so you kind of know why you're following up to that individual. So let's say they were going camping and suggested that I so here you can actually get pretty specific. If you have different users in your account, you can actually assign this task to somebody else. This is not started essentially, but you can adjust the progress. You can also select the urgency, if it's normal, low, or high, and then you're going to select the date and time. So I'm going to select this to the next week, and I'm going to select it at, let's say, 12:30. Now, For anyone that has a Google or G Suite account, you can actually sync your system to that. You can go into user profile, and there is a spot for integrations where you can add in your Google account and sync your calendar and the email, of course. Now, when you sync, what is very cool is that as soon as you create this task in here, that task will also show up in your Google Calendar with a direct link right into that lead so you don't forget about your tasks. So I'm just going to save this. As you can see, this little yellow box here appeared. This lets me know that I have an upcoming task. If I opened up this lead and this box is now red, that means I have an overdue task on there. So that's one way you can create a task. The next task way that you can do it, depending on where you're at with the lead, maybe they call and they want to set up a meeting with you, you can actually adjust the pipeline. So just the pipeline is to set the meeting. And if you want, it's going to ask you when you do that if you want to create a new task. And if you select yes, it's going to automatically bring you into the task window to create a task for that lead. And again, it'll show up in your calendar. So that's pretty cool with respect to that. So a few other things I just want to bring up to you with regard to the system here is you do have in here, you're going to see the email is, or the phone number rather, is valid. So if you make a call and you talk to the lead or you leave a message and the call goes through, essentially, it's going to mark this phone number as valid. Now you can simply change the email validity. So maybe it's the wrong number or what have you. You can just simply click on to the phone number. In this case, maybe this person said, do not call me. You can opt them out. You can mark it as invalid and unknown. In this case, we have valid, and same for the email address as well. So when that email goes out, if it goes through, it'll automatically switch this to green, marking that email as valid, as well as if they opt out, it'll slash through it, and if it goes as red, then essentially it's an improper email address, or they may have blocked you, marked you as spam, so you won't be able to get through. If you notice sometimes that it is red, just double check the email. It's common that people get their email wrong. They spell Gmail, they put the I before the A, things like that. So little things like that that could actually switch it from being invalid to an actual valid. Another feature you do have is to add additional contact information. So if you have a buyer that has a spouse or somebody else that you may be in regular contact with, you can definitely add them in here as additional contact information for that lead. Now, from time to time, you will want to sort your database, creating different audiences for you, and those are things that you will learn along the way. But one feature that our clients utilize is this tagging feature. So it's this little plus sign down below the lead's contact information. All you need to do is select it. Now, there is no tags in here. I haven't created any tags. So what the tags are used for is so that you can sort and organize your leads based on tags they have or tags they don't have. So a lot of times we'll see motivation, the type of buyer or seller that they are, maybe the source of that lead, various aspects like that that are going to allow you to filter your database accordingly. So let's just create a new tag here. It's pretty straightforward. You're just going to simply add a new tag, and you're going to give that tag a name. So this one here, let's just make a hot tag. We're going to mark this person as hot. Now I can select the color I want that tag, and I kind of associate a hot as being more of a red color, so I'm going to confirm that. Now once it's here, I'm going to select that tag and I'm going to go done. So now you can see here that this lead has the tag hot. So as you gradually start to familiarize yourself with the system, take advantage of tags. They are very effective for learning to follow up with certain audiences when you need to do that. Other cool features is, of course, you're going to be able to sort your leads. You'll be able to sort them based on the last point of communication, when they last actively opened an or listing that you've sent them, where they're at in your pipeline, as well as any additional notes and stuff. You can definitely sort your leads. There's so many different ways that you can sort your leads, and that's something that you will learn in due time. Another cool feature that our clients really like in here is the more detailed section. So when you scroll down, you have some lead data. You can definitely adjust this. Let's just say this lead is going to go move in 12 plus months. Buying in 12 plus months, let's say, 6 to 12 months that they're going to sell. This is, well, it's a home buyer and seller. So we're just going to leave her at other. And they obviously own if they're going to be selling, that sort of thing. And if they have a house to sell, yes, adding in all this information can assist you. Is it detrimental? No. You don't need to add all this information. It just can go and be useful for yourself. Same with the buying info in here as well. You can add in the number of bedrooms. So let's say 3, bathrooms 3, that sort of thing, and adding different aspects, the cities or communities that they're focusing in. This is more for your information. Some of these fields you can sort your leads based on this as well. Same idea for the sellers as well. Now, when you go to this more detailed section, this is going to allow you to add in their current address. Now, what's cool is we have it so that for their birthday, purchase anniversary, or wedding anniversary, you can set it up so the system automatically remembers to send them an email or text message. So let's just say that their purchase anniversary was in May 15th, 2019. And on this day, so you're going to see a little icon for each of these. You can select that icon. Now it's going to ask you on this day, what would you like to do? So you can send out an SMS or an email. For this case, I'm going to put email. You're going to select the time that you want that email to go out, and then you can select a template, or you can add your own stuff in here. Now keep in mind, if you're adding stuff in here, this is going to be the same email that goes out every single year. So don't be too personalized as to things that happened this year, because it is going to be automatic. But I believe we do have some birthday ones. Let's see, maybe not. We don't have a birthday one, but not in my list anyway. You probably have one in your list. So let's just say I'm going to create my own. And all you do here is you can download an image. So you just hit this download. Let's just put my daughter in there, her quirky face. That's going to show up, or it should show up. There we go. Come on. It is really big. So let's just go image properties, and we do not want it to be super big. So I'm just going to go 150. 150. There we go. It's a little bit smaller. It's not as huge. You can also use these little arrows as well. So this will allow you to create your own personal birthday message, whatever it may be. But we will have some that are in there, and you can just type in here. You can add links, just showing that you have not forgotten about your client, and then you can apply those changes. And then from that day on, your lead is going to receive an email on those important days where you want to let them know that you're thinking about them. Now, if we navigate back to the home page of the CRM system, one thing that we will notice is, so your leads are here. Now, if you notice, this timeline has changed. So this price point essentially is actually being pulled from that V2 search that we put. So it's pulling that right away. The timeline is where I added in that information. So if you want to be able to see this right off the hop, then you definitely can do that. This activity tab here, so we can see that there's actually one saved search for this individual. Now, some buyers, you may have multiple saved searches because they're looking for maybe a house to live in, maybe an investment property, maybe a cottage. And of course, all those criteria will differ in those scenarios. And then we're also going to see in the tasks here that we have a task coming up on the 17th. And that lets you know that there is an upcoming task in there as well. on this main screen, you're also going to be able to see the tag that we've applied here. Now, one of the great features in here is sorting your leads based on activity. You do have the ability to do it through this way. Another way that you can do it is by adding filter items. Our system allows you to add multiple filter items to create those audiences for yourself. So for example, in this case, I'm just doing the one. So I want the last activity and then you have the ability to kind of select. So if I wanted to pull up all my leads that were active in, let's say the Latin today, because I know the last few days isn't going to show too much. So today I've had 3 people that essentially were active in the system. So active means they've looked at listings, they are on my website, or they opened or engaged in an email that I sent to them. So you can always focus your efforts. And again, looking at this pipeline, have I actually made contact with this person, or should I focus on them a little bit further? You do have the ability, of course, to apply several mass actions in here. So once you maybe want to send out a mass email to a group of individuals or send out a specific listing to a group of individuals, you have that capability to do so. So that really wraps up the basic training in the CRM non-automated version. If you need further instruction on various aspects or you're just not quite certain, feel free to reach out. You can either reach out to our support team, which is support@agentlocator.ca. You can also reach out to myself at crystal@agentlocator.ca. Another cool feature, if you are a hands-on individual, is you do have this help button. So what this actually does is you can type in keywords and it's going to pull up relevant articles based on that keyword. So if I want to, for example, find something to do with my street match, what's going to happen when I set that, it's going to give me some top results in the street match. So how-tos and things like that. So this is a very useful if you're trying to, quickly find things in the system. Let's just go to the street match webinar. You can go in there. You can see all the little street match webinars that you can open up into the system and go from there. Another feature that you will notice is this little heart in your system. This little heart is flashing because there are some updates. It won't always flash unless we release some updates. So if it is flashing, make sure that you do click on it to see what's new because these changes are often in your benefit and utilization in the system. So the updates will always be here with a little video that you can watch and see what that update consists of. Another thing to mention is once you're into the Zendesk, you can simply just click on the Agent Locator logo. This is going to bring you to the homepage. So in the homepage of the Zendesk, there are some CRM, so non-automated CRM manuals where you can go in and figure out and learn. Some people are a little more hands-on. They learn better by troubleshooting on their own. I'm personally one of those people. But there's lots of different things in here that you can, jump into. You also have some updates. These are your live calendar of webinars that are in there. So you do have those abilities in the system as well if you want that more hands-on approach. But if you do need any assistance from our team, don't hesitate to reach out. We are more than happy to assist you and get you on the right track and learning the system. Thanks for watching.